Welcome back to Ebru Today. Tim Dillingham, the Executive Director of the American Littoral Society, here now to discuss climate changes and the oceans. Welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Laura.
We just came off the weather forecast, and is it me, or are we not seeing more extreme weather across the globe?
Well, we are definitely seeing more extreme weather, and there's a great concern that that is linked to climate change. As we put more carbon into the atmosphere, we're starting to affect the ocean, affect the temperature of the ocean. And as was discussed, the warmer the ocean water is, often the more extreme the storm events happen.
Right. Let's talk a little bit about what type of pollution causes or contributes to climate change, which impacts the oceans.
Right. Well, fundamentally, climate change pollution is related to burning fossil fuels and carbon. So when we use coal to create electricity, when we drive our cars, all those emissions, those gases come out and they go into the atmosphere. And we think about the atmosphere being the victim of climate change and carbon pollution, but in reality, the ocean absorbs almost a quarter of that carbon dioxide. And that's unfortunately starting to change the way the ocean works, the way things live there, and the uses that we make of the ocean.
All right, so what kind of changes might we be seeing along the coastlines, along our oceans?
Well, the first one obviously is the ocean's getting warmer. That's causing the sea level to rise, it's causing storms to be more extreme, and it's causing changes in the chemistry of the ocean. The storms are obviously the ones that we're going to feel first. Bigger hurricanes, more often hurricanes. That puts our homes at risk, that puts the ports that we use at risk. The changes in the chemistry of the ocean affect the fisheries and the wildlife that live there, all of which are very important to people.
I mean, because we are typically June 1st is when we have the official start to hurricane season. This year, before June 1st, we were already into the B's. We had already had two.
Right. Unfortunately, scientists are telling us we're going to see more storms, bigger storms, more often.
All right. Well, how do these changes affect how we use and benefit the ocean, the coast, and its resources?
Well, we think about the fact that we all go to the beach in summertime. We have many houses that are built there. We depend on fish and fisheries for economy, the ports. So as the ocean gets higher, the storms start to reach further inland. They start to affect the wetlands, which are at the base of the ocean food system. They start to pound on the beaches that we use. They start to affect the houses. So all these events are linked back to the carbon pollution that we're putting into the atmosphere and the climate change that's resulting from it.
All right, so what can we do to change the tide, no pun intended here?
Yeah, well, I think we do exactly what we've always told our kids to do. We turn the lights off, we use less energy, we try to move our energy production to non-polluting sources, and then I think we just be conscious about the fact that we need to be taking steps to put laws into place to have these changes come about.
Do we need legislation, or is this just a matter of common sense?
Well, I think there's a great part of it that's personal responsibility, turning the lights out, using less energy. But when we shift from coal and polluting sources of energy to other non-polluting renewable sources, that's going to take legislation.
Let's talk about the timeline here. A lot of people worry for the next generation. It's not going to affect me. Florida isn't going to go underwater. That's 100 years away. Or is it?
No, it's not. It's on a very short time frame, unfortunately. I think the next 30 to 50 years, we really need to make critical decisions, and it's affecting us today. We know that the storms and the impacts of sea level rise are really affecting our economy and affecting our way of life.
Well, you bring up the economy. Let's talk about the domino effect there. When there is a problem with the oceans, how it affects the economy. Business, I know in New Jersey, where we're broadcasting from, it's a $30 billion industry, tourism along the shore.
Absolutely. Well, people lose sight of the fact that the planet is mostly ocean, right? So we are very fundamentally linked to what happens here. And most of our economy, most of the population, almost 75% of the population of the country lives within 50 miles of the coast. So what happens here clearly affects how we go about our work, how we do our business, how our communities grow and thrive.
All right, we've got about 15 seconds left. Give me 3 points that our viewers can take away, things that they can do, because I know there's legislation that's pending to address this. What can we do?
We can drive less, turn the lights off, use less energy, and pay attention to what Congress is doing.
All right. Well, we thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us about climate change and our oceans. Good to have you back.
Great. Thanks, Laura.